So 1 billion, do you ever think you'd reach that?
No. You know, it's been 10 years in growing this market and pioneering a new form of dynamic ownership. I think that we've seen in so many digital industries, we've completely changed consumption. We have, you know, our music in the cloud, our entertainment in the cloud, and Rent the Runway is really trying to build the physical world and put it in the cloud and give customers unlimited choice and to be able to have, you know, your clothing, your home, your stuff on rotation.
Well, and your business has evolved. Talk to us about that evolution and now how you see it versus 10 years ago when you started.
Well, when we evolved, we were renting outfits for special occasions. And 3 years ago, we launched a subscription to fashion, which enabled our customers to get dressed for their everyday lives. And we've seen this unbelievable adoption in this behavior almost overnight, where customers are using our service 120 days of the year as a substitution for the closet in their bedroom. And they're using it not just to get dressed for work, which we thought was going to be the primary use case, but also for vacations and maternity and, you know, casual weekends. And every time we add a new product category, actually the engagement goes up. And I think this is really, we're benefiting from the tailwinds of the millennial and Generation Z customer being so apt to, first of all, think about sustainability. They know that they're not using 80% of their closet. And also, you know, they're renting everything in their lives, from their office space via WeWork to calling a cab via Uber or Lyft.
Well, you brought up Uber or Lyft. They're going to IPO. You're going to IPO?
At some point, we hope so. You know, this round...
Is it sooner now than you would have thought a year ago?
Well, this round actually gives us full control over our financial destiny, and we can now time the right strategic decisions that are best for the company, which was really the goal of raising this round. So after 10 years of feeling like you have to fuel your business with fundraising, we now don't have to do that anymore, which is wonderful.
I'm always curious in this model how sticky it is. So in other words, you get a customer, they sign up. How long do they stay with you? Because that also plays into the kind of visibility you have as a company.
Yeah, so what's been amazing about Rent the Runway is that for 10 years, 95% of our customers have been driven via word of mouth. And that has actually accelerated since we launched our unlimited subscription program, because you show up at work, you have a subscription, and you are a walking billboard for this behavior every day. So people are actually benefiting from the fact that their colleagues and friends are using it. You can see your colleague basically merchandising the outfit for you. You could figure out whether you think it'll look good on you, whether it'll be appropriate fit. So we see that actually stickiness increases when people are doing this in groups, and that there are real offline network effects to this behavior.
So when people come on, do you hold on to them for years when they sign up? Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive.
So Mike, talk to us about the overall capital market. So the latest unicorn, how much capital is sloshing around? What do you see?
Well, you know, the IPO market's been very quiet for the last 6 months because of the market volatility. That's now picking up. Lyft is going to come public. I think that's the first kind of marquee deal, and there's a host of them behind it. So that's been a real positive for the stock market, quite frankly, the lack of supply. I anticipate the next month or so, we have a dynamic between supply and demand that's changing, which is the buyback will go into the quiet period, and you're getting more supply in the IPO market. That could put a little pressure on other stocks, because look, if I want to buy these exciting new companies, I have to sell something to do that. So I do think the supply and demand dynamics of the capital markets are going to be a little bit of a headwind over the next month or two.
But Jennifer, you don't feel any pressure. There's a ton of money out there, right, to access.
Well, I also just don't feel pressure because of the business model that we've set up and being financially disciplined over time. But I think that what's interesting about all of the companies that are kind of slated to go public over the next year or two, it's the companies that have thought about this new consumer behavior, this new customer, and her shifting values. So all of these companies are feeding into a completely different way that millennials and Generation Z are living. They're working more, they're living in cities, they're valuing sustainability. Like, all of those value sets actually benefit Rent the Runway as much as they benefit WeWork and Airbnb and Lyft.
Well, and also it feeds into sort of other sectors. Like, you take a look at traditional retail sales model, obviously that's been struggling, yet there's going to be pockets that are going to be strong. How do you play something like that?
Well, I mean, the way to play it has been Amazon, right? That's been the lead dog, but there's many others. This is going to continue. I mean, this is not a fad, right? Online shopping in general, sharing economy, these are trends that are here to stay, and there's going to be tremendous opportunity to disintermediate the existing players, and that's going to continue.
I think the old model of how we used to consume, if you think about the department store model, it's really not customer focused. In 1990, the average American was buying 40 articles of clothing per year. Now, the average American in 2018 bought 68 articles of clothing per year with the same dollars spent on the sector, meaning you're buying more items at much cheaper prices because what do you value? Variety. Why do you value that variety? Perhaps because of social media, where you need to post about yourself, a million times a day. So the industry really hasn't caught up with the idea that the value set is completely different, and people have been demonstrating this with their pocketbooks. It's why Amazon and kind of purveyors of cheaper cost clothing have been on fire for the last 10 years. And I think that Rent the Runway is really a substitutional product for that, and much higher value, much higher quality, and obviously much more sustainable.